Welcome to LezBanta. We're here, y'all. We finally made it in the double digits after Sis's video, of course. But
yeah, double digits, 1-1, baby.
Thank y'all for tuning in with us.
Yes,
and
thank
staying
y'all
with
for,
us.
Yeah, sticking with us for real. Y'all been here since the jump, and it hasn't even been that long, but it feels long.
No, we literally started in May.
Yeah, dude.
Not even a year yet.
Not even, man.
All right. So today's topic. Well, before we go on to today's topic, just want to say the people that we talk about, they're not bad people, okay, y'all?
They're not.
Yes, we've had not the greatest experience, but at the end of the day, everyone's their own being. They all, we all learn from these things. So as you can, I don't know if you could kind of get the hint, but we're really talking about toxic relationships in this episode, okay? What our experience was.
Yes.
You see me cringe like that? Like, don't like the feeling or the word toxic. I think it gets overused in my opinion, but
no, I agree. I feel like it's definitely overused, but I do feel like when it's mentioned, there's just like a heaviness that comes with it.
It's automatic like
what's going on? Yeah, on the defense. But no, definitely to emphasize on that, everyone we've talked about prior episodes and particularly in this episode, we're going to talk about our experiences and share our stories and what we went through. Obviously, there's always two sides to the story.
Most definitely.
So don't just kind of lean on our side and be like, this is how it was. But this is why we have this platform to share our experiences and our stories. And, if the people we mention would do the same thing, more props to them. I think everyone should share their stories and experiences so that others can learn from it at the end of the day. But to say all that, they are not bad people. We're all human. We make mistakes. And I think sharing experiences just goes a long way. One, for other people to relate that might be going through something similar. And for two, to people learn from your mistakes. So that's sort of what we wanted to start off with before
they can hear the juiciness.
Everybody likes the tea.
They love
Let's
that
be
entertaining.
Everyone loves the tea.
Juicy stories, you know what I'm saying?
We're giving you the fresh hot tea today.
So I'll start off with my toxic relationships. Okay. Plural. That's crazy. I'll name her So&So in this episode.
Yes.
And we started off as friends, actually, because I've known her for quite some time during my high school years and through mutual friends. But I didn't think that we would, honestly, I was just caught off guard by how her whole approach was. I also felt like she didn't think it was going to get that way, but I felt like she kind of had some intent because she was, in that phase of her life where she was just going through it, trying to just figure things out. Leaving another relationship and all that stuff clearly didn't go well. So
was she also with other with another woman too, or
good question. No.
Okay, so you were her first. Okay.
First and last.
Damn.
Yeah, that's how bad it was.
Let's see what happens in between. Shit.
Well, I mean, it started out really good, right? But then I feel like we were so young at that time when we were together.
How old were you?
This was when I came back from the Bay, so I think I was like 20? 20.
Yeah, 20.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
To do that.
I know. And so, we were together for some time, but why it happened so bad? Because that's what this episode is all about. I just feel like, one, we jumped into this relationship. Everybody kept saying, all our friends and stuff were all like, this is not a good idea. They already clearly knew, right? But we're just like, dude, we're just having fun.
But why wasn't it a good idea? Was it?
Because they both knew that we were two different people, and it just
personality
the way
wise.
that we were meshing was not gonna work. Yeah,
got it.
So they already knew from the get because they're both close to us, and
makes sense. That makes sense.
And they were right. For those, if my girls are gonna watch this, yes, you're right. But I feel like, at the end of the day, like you said, it's a learning experience at the same time. We all learn from our mistakes and stuff. But it just happened so bad where I got...
That deep breath was real.
I basically... Well, it was so bad that we were going back and forth, but, I got caught up again.
Wait.
And
We need to make a compilation.
So jumped through my grandmother's window and basically saw me in bed with another
I'm sorry, I remember this story.
toxic girl.
I'm trying so hard. I'm not laughing because
You remember
you
the story?
Caught. I'm laughing because
I've got caught many times, y'all. You know, I'm not the greatest person when it came to relationships when I was younger. I'm going to hold myself accountable on that. I was very bad. And
I'll be like, you're also not slick. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm also not slick.
Don't cheat, y'all. Don't cheat.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say that we were like full on together, but we were still.
Are you about to pull a Ross?
Oh my gosh.
Rachel.
We were not together. Is that what you're saying?
We were on a break.
We were on a break. Yeah, but that was like, you know, the biggest thing of it all. Of course, there's another time where we were just getting into really bad arguments. Like we would just not see eye to eye, and that was very hard.
Yeah.
Right? It even went to a point where, you know, I was playing basketball at the time, and like one of my assistant basketball coaches kind of had to like get in the middle between us.
Oh,
because
damn.
I had a tournament. She flew out to my tournament. And after I told her, I was like, you know, like we need to like set some.
This was after the fact that she caught you, or before?
Way before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to highlight that because that was like the biggest.
Yeah,
that was the biggest thing of our relationship. It was so bad, and yeah, so we were just like not seeing eye to eye. It was also I felt like our insecurities was getting the best of us because I'm also gonna hold myself accountable on that. And the way that we were communicating, it also just didn't start off on a good note because when she would bring me to her house, like her parents did not like me.
When she brought you around, did she introduce you as her girlfriend?
I think to her mom and to her dad. She didn't really. Yeah, to her dad, no. I don't remember because I didn't really have like a, you know, a full on formal conversation with him.
But you were also at the time mass presenting, right?
Oh, most
so they
definitely.
can kind of get a hint.
Yeah,
of
I'm
like,
still wearing the same old stuff that I'm wearing today.
Yeah. That makes sense. So they kind of, I could see that. They kind of got the hint.
Okay, so anyways, yeah. So that was like where I feel like because we didn't start off on a good note with her family too, it's just like got so bad. Like even with my family got to the point where they were just not wanting her at the house.
Damn.
Yeah, so it was really hard, but we were still trying to stick it through. You know, that back and forth, still not trying to listen to other people.
No matter what, we're going to figure it out. It's us against the world.
That's us against the world.
If you think about it, that's such a toxic mentality.
But we were really pushing it, bro. We were pushing it. So, yeah, those are the ones. That was the one where, you know, going back to where my assistant coach had to get into it. I remember because it was before my game and I was like, so just, you know, just with all these rushed feelings of like, it was all negative feelings, mind you, but I was just like, dude, like my game's not on point. I'm just like getting all this pressure from her and then my coaches, my teammates, like I need to focus, like be A1 for this tournament, you know? And then I remember because we were just not getting along or basically in an argument again in front of, and that was the biggest thing that I will say that I learned. It took me years to learn this, but like showing all the altercation and like arguing with each other in public in front of your friends, your teammates, that was really bad. Like I honestly do not recommend y'all. Even though all your emotions really get the best of you, like really try so hard to tell yourself, don't do it. Save it for behind the, you know, when you get home, and really just gather all your feelings and thoughts before things just get even worse. And that's kind of where like we would get other people involved, and my coach hated it and had to step in. This was also the person that jumped out of my car because we got into a bad argument. Yo, stories on stories, bro.
Okay, we're laughing about it now. Let me just say that.
Laughing about now, but of course I was just fucking so upset because I was like, her safety, one, and I'm gonna be held liable for this because it's not my car. I just want to make sure she's safe. It was also those like, you know, fight and flight type of situations where we would get so heated in this argument, and then either one of us, because I include myself too, would just storm out and like, you know. So it was just so bad. I'm sorry.
So
I'm sorry to you if you ever were to watch this. I
Aw.
apologize formally because we both didn't deserve that, and you for sure didn't deserve that. But it was very toxic, which is why I had to put it in this episode.
Damn, I love that though. I love that.
You know,
That's sincere. Yeah, and I'm curious. Going back to when you had mentioned when you first got caught, did you guys get back together? Like, where did it end?
No. Well, actually, I wouldn't say we got back together, but we were still like messing around.
Got it. So there was still like a connection.
Yeah,
there.
and like, but then it stopped until like she finally like just put her foot down and was like talking to other people and stuff.
And then just okay.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, I was like, is there anything from that particular one like you wish you could have done differently, or do you feel like?
Well, that relationship for sure taught me a lot. Where I was like, okay, I really need to get my ish together and really focus. I think I mentioned this in previous episodes, but I really need to get my ish together and focus on the person that I'm with.
Yeah.
And like give them the love that they deserve. If we're even aligned with each other, of course.
Yeah.
And I really need to be faithful and give this person love.
But you know, the fact that you can be vulnerable and be open and honest and like hold yourself accountable, it speaks so much volume, right?
Yeah.
Like a lot of people try to like beat around the bush, like, well, technically I didn't cheat, like technically I didn't do this, right? But like at the end of the day, like we're human, we make mistakes,
I've
especially
cheated,
at a young age.
Terrible. I'm
And
sorry.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
You
not
know?
a great. It's not like I'm here to talk about how, but you know, people put it in that, like you said.
Yeah.
They try to make it sound all good and stuff.
Yeah.
It's really not good. You're really the whole emotional part. Like she said, I don't have emotions. That's why I'm like, okay, learning about emotions now. You know, it's better late than never.
Exactly. But I think that's what's the most important part is the fact that like you're willing to change. You're wanting to change. You know what I mean? It's not like you're carrying this into, you know, later stages in life, like when you're actually looking for like marriage and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you carry that with you. You know what I'm saying? So don't get me wrong. Like, and we both could agree, like we don't advocate for people that cheat, but I think at the end of it, if you start to hold yourself accountable, it's such a big step. And then just owning it, like, yes, I did mess up. You know, this is not what I wanted to do, but I'm going to do my best to change because I don't want to be this person. I think that's what's most important from all of it. You know?
Yeah.
So
No,
give yourself
definitely.
grace. Give yourself grace.
Transitioning into an old girl.
Yes.
This relationship started after So&So. This one was the most toxic one. I think this beats everything, in my opinion.
Damn.
I mean, we were both learning. Again, this is another one where I was the first and I was not the last. From what I've learned in the end. But it started off on a good note with her family. But in terms of like our overall relationship, it started off on a really bad note. So
wait, in what capacity? Started off on a bad note. Oh, are you talking about what I'm thinking you're talking about? Oh, okay. Yeah, we don't.
Yeah. So that was, I didn't think it was going to really like impact us later on. But yeah, I feel like when we started, we were just trying to, okay, when getting in this honeymoon stage, we were like hella about each other. And I don't know, I feel like because it happened right after my last relationship, there were still things that needed to be unpacked. So a lot of insecurity stuff started getting involved. And again, like always, miscommunication I've had in every relationship. I feel like we're gonna have it everywhere. Nothing's ever gonna be perfect, but when we were together, it was really bad where things got really, really out of control. And that's when I was like, after our relationship ended, I was like, I don't want to be this person. Like, I felt so evil inside. Like, I was always blaming myself for everything. I thought, you know, yeah, it got into, abuse basically. And like, yeah, I just thought that I was going to be such a bad person. I was never going to find another relationship. And I was like, I need to start figuring things out on my own, which is why I was on that whole spiritual journey on my afterwards,
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't looking for anybody because I was like, I do need to love myself, like I said in that last episodes, because I clearly cannot take care of somebody else. I clearly cannot love somebody else to like what their expectations are, so.
Do you feel like you had mentioned because it started off not in the best of ways? Do you think if it had started off in a better note, then maybe the experience wouldn't be as toxic as you went through, or you felt like there was just more at fault when it came to, like you mentioned, like the communication, the trust, the respect? Like, was that because you had mentioned like the honeymoon stage. Like the honeymoon stage for lesbian relationships is like intense as fuck. Mm-hmm. Like the conversations you be having, like you probably be talking about moving in together already. You probably talking about getting married, having kids, So like it's
getting married, having kids is definitely
it's quick.
One.
It's quick, So I feel like it's intense.
Yes. It was very intense because to answer your question, I don't think it would have gone better if we both like laid it out on the table and like started off on a good note. I think we both needed to work on ourselves individually before getting into that relationship. Mm-hmm. And then honestly, things maybe could have been different. Cause like we both knew that we wanted to be together, but then it got so bad, that we were just like, well, she for sure was just like, okay, I can't do this anymore. And then we just went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Damn.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I was like, it just got to the point where I had to find out for myself on what was happening, because we were going back and forth for like a solid year, I feel like. Mm-hmm. And then I found out like, okay, there's clearly other entertainers in this relationship. And I'm clearly not the only one that was being, not faithful. Mm-hmm. I mean, it wasn't that I wasn't being faithful to her. It's just like when I knew that like things are done, I was like, okay, I really need to step away from this. But it was very hard. Like I didn't know, because I was so, you'll probably mention this, is like you're so used to that person for so long. Oh yeah. You really thought that you had something going on. And she was the first relationship where I actually had to have a serious conversation with their parents and talk about like, yeah, I'm into your daughter. Oh wow. And they were not for it. They wanted to know what my purpose was, why I'm here, and how do I feel with how it's gonna affect like her younger sisters and stuff like that.
I don't think I ever asked you this, but was Ogro with other women before you, or were no? Okay,
like I said, I was her first, and definitely not the last.
And honestly, I'll talk about my end too when we get there, but like that's pressure in itself on the relationship. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's one thing you're trying to navigate through, like if there's no trust, if there's infidelity, etc. But then the pressure of like parents and family just adds on, and it doesn't give you or the person you're trying to make it work with space to really face the issues y'all are having and decide the best way to move forward. Mm-hmm. Like, so I can only imagine that type of pressure coming of, damn, like, what's your purpose and all that stuff. That's a lot, especially because you're young.
Yeah.
The hell?
I just turned 21.
Yeah. Like, damn, man. That's wild.
I respected it though, because I was like, okay, I know this ain't going to be the first interaction I'm going to have, like, I was like, I really need to learn when talking to parents, especially if their child has not come out like that, and having to not just earn their respect, but kind of just like, try to figure out how I could navigate in their life. Yeah. As well while I'm with their child.
Makes sense.
It's hard.
It is.
Having to understand that perspective on the parent side is really hard, but really just being there and like being respectful, because that's what I was all about. I was like, like, I'm here for you. Like, I'm really into your daughter. Like, I'm gonna respect your space, whether you don't want me at the house, whether like yeah. All those things, because at the end of the day, it's her family is what's gonna matter the most, And I I'm all about that.
Yeah, just you even taking the initiative to make sure that you're not compromising your relationship with the family and the parents. It just speaks so much, right? Like a lot of people, and it's like I mentioned, like I don't want to bring age into this, but at that time, in those moments, age does play a factor because it's experience, right? Like at that moment, you don't have the experience. You're going through something fairly new and you're still trying to navigate your own life in terms of like, what career direction am I going to? What decisions am I making for my future, et cetera? So to have that pressure at such a young age, but to maintain like the respect for family, for elders, and so on, just speaks so much.
Yeah. That's why I was like, you know, really trying in that relationship.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, Ghost, I'm sure she was too.
Yeah.
Because we both didn't really see all the toxic things that had happened in our relationship. But, you know, once things got bad, it got so bad, we were just like, okay. And then it got to a point where, you know, all the cheating stuff that I would hear. And I was like, you know, trying to get benefited down, still trying to try. I never had done that before. So doing it for the first time, I was like, this is exhausting.
Yeah,
yes.
This is new. This is different.
You know? And I was like, okay, I'm starting to get to a point where I'm really losing myself. I don't know.
Have you ever been cheated on prior before?
With this relationship or
before
in general?
her in general?
Yeah.
And
that's the first. What was the episode that we talked about coming out?
Yes. But in those moments, do you feel like you didn't forgive and you're like, no, I'm out? Or did you give chances? Or is this the relationship that you started giving chances?
This is the relationship that started the chances. Yeah.
Damn.
Because I was very just like, all right, one and done.
Yeah, heartless.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say heartless. Sorry. I would say you stay true to your boundaries. I wouldn't even say, you know what I'm saying? Like if you're in a relationship, the whole purpose of a relationship is built on trust, on being loyal and all that. And if that is broken, then what's the point? But, you know, I'm a victim of the latter of like second, third, fourth, fifth chance, sixth, and so on and so on. So like to see that like play of like before you were like, no, I'm out. And now you're like, okay, it just shows that like you did try.
I'm not gonna lie though, I did feel like I was heartless at that time.
Yeah.
Because
it makes
it's
you
not like
numb.
That's how I got, dude. I was very numb. And I thought that like, because there were some relationships where they started the whole cheating stuff first. Yeah. And then the other relationships would definitely be me. Yeah. But that's where I was just like, okay, like I'm doing it because I'm starting to just not care anymore. And like not wanting to put in the effort. That's why I was like, okay, I need to really learn how to be a partner. Yeah. And be a supportive one, because if I'm in this thing and I'm not showing love or putting the time and effort, then like what am I doing? Why am I even in a relationship?
No, I feel
that's
you.
How it got to that point. So
I feel you.
Yeah, when that happened, I was like, okay. But I learned from that relationship. I was like, okay, that's when I started finding out all the whole self journey and trying to focus on myself, loving myself. But that took a long time to heal from.
I can only imagine.
Because when I actually tried, oh man, when you actually try it, it's different. Yeah, it's different. I was like, damn,
all the sad songs and shit.
For sure,
like, I really tried. Damn.
You know, like our friends always say that it's just they're crying and all this other stuff, and I really was crying like that, bro. And before I would get hurt, emotional, but then it went to a point where it's like, okay, I would have that period of I was hurt and I made the regrets, like why did I lose her? And then after like some time, it was a very short period, I'm out here, why am I wasting my tears on this girl? Let me go out to the club, see what my homies doing, because I'm still young.
Live my single life.
Yeah, I'm gonna live my single life.
How old are you at the time?
With the So&So?
Yeah, no, girl.
I was like 21 or
when it
23,
ended.
23-ish, 24-ish.
No, that's it?
Yeah. I think I was 23.
Right. Yeah. 23, 24. Oh, yeah. You was still young and thriving for sure.
Yeah. That's why I was like, why am I hurt? But then it actually took a long time. Yeah. Because I tried to get in that mode. I tried to flip the switch. But then I found out I was still hurt.
Yeah, it's like when it hits different when you're actually like giving it your all till you literally got nothing left and you're still stuck with nothing at the end and you're like, damn, like that heartbreak, that shit hits different.
It hit different, man.
It definitely
So
did.
what's your toxic stuff like?
Ooh, well, I have 2 as well, which is just funny. Similar timelines, but my old girl lasted longer than it should have, and you know. Shit happens. So
you're a lover boy.
I am very much. We've talked about this multiple times. So I'll start off with So&So. So I was probably 19 at the time, and when me and So&So started off, it was friends with benefits, and like we started off on that note, and like I was at the time I had been getting to know someone else, and that was sort of ending, and then I had ran into her at the club and we just kind of hit it off. But she was actually in a relationship and coming out of it. And so
when you guys were friends with benefits?
Yeah. And so, yeah. So we just kind of went into like friends with benefits. Okay, cool. Like whatever, right? I knew. Okay. She had, so I don't.
Toxic, she knew.
I don't know. No, but the way is it me? Am I the drama? I'm the drama. No, but I knew she had mentioned like they ended it with her and her ex. Yeah, no, they weren't together at the time. At least that's what I know. I don't know if they were together. So if you are watching, I apologize. I did not know if you were together. And so when we had met each other at the club, because I had seen her at a house party before, but I didn't know her. Then we ran into each other at the club and we were like, oh, I remember you from this person's party, etc. And that led to like us getting to know each other. And that turned into, okay, let's be friends with benefits. And so, you know how friends with benefits gets messy as fuck, especially with 2 girls. Lesbians. And so we're over here like, you know, doing this friends with benefits thing. And this is when we were out in the scene at like cribs and stuff like that and Fuse. And I would see her. But we weren't together, right? Like we were just friends with benefits, and she would be with her friends, I'd be with my friends. And if I was talking to other girls, like it was bothering her. And so then,
was she there when we were there?
You weren't with us. You went back to Dago because it was when I was 19, 20. Oh, yeah. You were back in Dago. And so that friends with benefits ended very quickly, and it turned into a situationship, into a relationship. So
a situationship.
We kind of already started a little rough, you know, and it turned into like, okay, this person clearly has feelings, and you know, the feelings were mutual. I had feelings, and it was a rushed relationship. Like I would say, you know, one thing, and
a rushed relationship or U-Haul.
It wasn't a U-Haul. We didn't move in together, but I guess it was U-Haul, like, you know, if you're talking about it, like, in terms of time frame. In terms of, like, the time frame, the context, like, yeah, you can call it a U-Haul. We just didn't move in together. But, you know, this kind of, like, maybe it was a red flag, but she asked me for a promise ring. And I was like, okay.
Maybe, yes, it is.
Like,
if you didn't feel the same way, and did y'all have discussions about it prior?
Like, no, she just like it just came out of the cuts of like she wanted a promise ring. And
it most definitely is.
And I was very much like I was a partner pleaser. I was like, you know, at your beckoning call. Like that's how I was, I'll be honest, in that relationship and in the last one I was at before I found myself, healed myself, and loved myself, you know. And you know, I did that for her. But I didn't do it because I wanted to. I did it because she asked me. So like those little things kind of like were in the back of my head, but I ignored them, right? And I continued on. And, you know, I mean, I'm right now, I'm like laughing and looking back and like, what the fuck? But like I was heartbroken. Like, so long story short of this toxic relationship was that she cheated on me. Not only did she cheat on me with a man. And like,
oh, that
hit so different. And you know, in my gut, I always had a feeling, because one thing, I remember everything, and I hate that. I do. I remember every little detail. I'm like, this text message, that, whatever, right? 2 is I'm very observant. So when I start to notice little patterns of like they're being a little secretive, or like they're being a little discreet, or why are they kind of like being like they're hiding something all of a sudden, I start to question it. And so I'm like, hey, like, is everything good? Like, what's going on? And I'm trusting that this person is being honest with me, right? But in my gut, I always felt like something was off. And at the time, I had a best friend that is no longer my best friend because of this situation, but I was confiding in her, and she had been my best friend since like 8th grade, right? And we were like, what, 19, 20? And I was confiding in her. I was crying to her. Like, I just feel like something's going on and I'm like out of the loop. And
how far were you guys dating? Like, how long in?
Me and my so-and-so, name drop, we were together for about a little over a year and a half. Yeah. Okay. So it wasn't that long, but so much had happened.
Yeah.
And like I had met her parent, her mom and all that stuff. And like, she knew my family, etc. So like there was definitely involvement at that level. And so pretty much long story short, one day my best friend at the time calls me and she was like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I have something to tell you. And I was like, what? And that stomach wrench feeling, like your stomach just drops and you're like, oh my God, what happened? And she just told me. She was like, your so-and-so has been cheating on me. It's been going on for a few months. It was with the guy that I assumed that it was. It was a guy that she was working with. And I knew, and I'm so sorry I didn't tell you, etc. But the even fucked up part was that she helped her cheat on me.
Oh.
So there was this one moment where air punch is just crazy. Don't ruin the camera. There was this one moment where that guy had texted so-and-so, and I forgot what he said, but it was pretty much like disrespecting like our relationship. Like he was like saying some like disrespectful things toward our relationship, but like sexual insinuations towards her, I think it was. And I saw it and I had told her, I was like, either you tell him and put him in his place or I'm gonna do it. Like, you feel me? And she was like, I'll talk to him, so on and so forth. And so she replies to him and he texts back. But she didn't reply to him. She replied to my best friend, and my best friend texted back. And she changed her name to his name and sent me a screenshot. So the whole time I thought she told him what's up, and he responded, but she helped her like get away with that shit.
What was his name? Papa John's?
Oh, what? His actual contact. His real name?
Domino's. Oh,
you know who you are, you little bitch.
Dang.
So that like,
when you said that you had like these gut wrenching feelings, like what were you catching her do? Like, was she hiding her phone a lot? Was she, not trying to hang out with you some days?
No, like being very like phone flipped, and like phone, like I'm going to the bathroom, take her phone with her. I'm doing this, like make sure her phone is with her at all times. And I'm like, damn, like I wouldn't even like, I'm not the type of person to like sit there and go through your phone, like ever. You know what I'm saying? Like, unless you give me a reason to, or unless like there's that gut feeling and I'm like, okay, the math ain't mathin'. You know what I'm saying? So like,
were there times where she never like answered your calls and stuff?
Oh yeah. There was times where she wouldn't answer, she wouldn't reply. She would like be busy and it would be going on like longer than expected, but like no follow-up, nothing like that.
Can I just say something? I hated that because I felt like I was just so in denial about those things. But when I started hearing that, like, you wouldn't call me back after some time.
Yeah.
Whether it's I've gone days.
Yeah.
Even, and when they finally answer and they're like, talking a little soft. And like, oh, sorry, I'm not feeling well, or blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, here we go.
Yep. You could just, it's like, you know what they say? Like, listen to your gut. Like, your gut's not lying to you, right? But then, at least I can speak for myself. I get in denial about things, and like my whole thing is like, if I don't see the evidence, I have no reason to feel this way, right?
Me too. Yeah. I
try to give them the benefit of the doubt. So what ended up happening throughout this whole time where I had this feeling and like I would see little things as like I would make excuses for it. Like, okay, like she talked to him. Okay, like this is why X happened. Okay, so on and so forth. But it just led to more and more miscommunications that we kept having. And it all to come down of like, I was right the entire time. That's that feeling of like, I fucking knew it, but also like, are you fucking kidding me? Like I confronted you so many times. You lied to my face. You disrespected me. You disrespected us, only to find this out. And when I had approached her, there was just shock. Like, because again, I didn't catch her. Somebody finally had the guts to tell me. And the even fucked up part was that her whole friend group knew.
Oh.
And I was like kicking it with them all the time. And they saw what I was doing for her. Like, I'm the type of person when I'm in a relationship, like, yeah, I go out of my way for my person. Like, that's just how I am. Like, I'm just very in tune with that. And like, they saw me going out of my way, me like, you know, being there for her, showing up, etc., only to get like played in the end and get used, right? But the worst part of all this is that I went back to her.
Good thing I lived in San Diego because me and you would have fought.
So you know what they say, like, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, like, you feel me? Like, it was my fault. You know, I consciously made that choice. And I was literally not myself. Like, when I would say I was literally a monster, and this was not, like, I'm not proud of this moment or this person in my life, but I literally had tabs on her, like location, phone login, who she's calling, literally down to the T. I had tabs on her, but that's what she was willing to do to try to make it work. So she was like begging, right, to get back together. And I was like, if we lost trust, we don't have anything, you know? And she was like, whatever you need, like whatever we can help. And I was like, I don't know what I need. Like, what I need to know what you're doing at every waking second is crazy. And like, we did that for like a few months, and I was a monster, dude. Like, looking back on it, I'm like, who was I? Like, it's true when they say people could bring out the best in you and people could bring out the worst in you. And I was literally, that was the worst reflection of myself in my entire life, only for it to end up leading on, she cheated on me again.
With the same dude?
No, with a girl. It was like her homie's cousin or some shit. Yeah. So, you know.
Homie's cousin?
Yeah. So I'm not going to say like one's a cheater, oh is a cheater. You feel me? Like, I hope, you know, this was like years back. I hope this person has figured out what they need in their life to like be a faithful person, be a loyal person, if that's what they're looking for. But if they want to live this life and they don't want anything serious, then I understand and respect that decision. You know what I'm saying? But in that moment, I will say, like, there were times where I could have, you know, been disloyal and done things, but I was very much that person of like, no, like, I'm going to stick it through for my person. I'm with this person only to get, you know, bit in the ass, but shit happens. But that sort of like led me to me trying to do better, make better decisions, you know. But the one thing I will say is, you know, once that did finally end, I think I took about a little less than a year before I jumped into my next relationship with old girl, which was also a toxic one, but this one lasted for almost 7 years. And this one in particular had started off with like, it didn't like, I was her first girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? I was her first serious relationship. So we didn't think it would go anywhere far or anywhere serious.
Are you going to tell the viewers how you met her?
How did I meet? Well, this is where our
because how I found out, I was like,
this is where our timelines add up. What? So her old girl ex, obviously, like, I knew her, kicked it with her because of Kayla and all that stuff, and like I followed her on Instagram, and she posted my old girl ex on her Instagram, and I was like, oh, like, who is that? And she'd always be like, she's straight, Amon, leave her alone, And I was like, you know, that's never stopped me. Mind you, I'm like 21, 22 at the time, you feel me? I was 22 at the time, actually. And I'm like, you know, I'm just trying to see what's up. Like, and the worst thing I could get is no, right? Like, granted, they're straight, they're into men, whatever, and I could still shoot my shot, and they'll be like, nah, I'm good, I'm gonna keep pushing, right? So I pretty much slid into her DMs.
Slid in the DMs. Can I just say something? Like, when I found out about that, I mean, I didn't know that my old girl had told you about her being straight. And then when I found out that you actually slid in the DMs, I said, oh, what? Somebody got the confidence.
Your boy had some
game. Was boosted.
Your boy had a little bit of game, just a little bit. You know, I just shot my shot. And the worst thing, I was like, you know what? Because I wasn't going to run into her. She was in SoCal. I was in NorCal. Like, I didn't think it was possible. So, you know, I shot my shot. Do I regret it? No.
No,
I don't regret it, right? I don't regret it. What I wish I would have changed was I wish I would have left earlier than later. But again, I do believe that things happen for a reason. So that's something I can't control, and I can't change the narrative and go back, right? Mm-hmm. So going into this relationship, it was great. It was, like you said, the honeymoon stage, it was amazing. It was like the high, everything. Like it was going very, very well. Like we were both in a good place, and
you were flying back and forth.
I was flying back and forth. She was coming back and forth. But before or literally right after we made things official, which was like 3 months into us like talking, is when we had talked about in past episodes with the stud versus stud, that situation happened where
you guys made it official after that?
Before that.
Oh, before
that same month. Yeah. So later, like literally, like not even a month.
Oh, the same month?
Yeah. Not even a month before. And she asked me to be her girlfriend. I didn't ask her. And I'm not saying that means that like it was that I wasn't ready or whatnot, but we were both in a spot. Clearly, when that person makes a first move, it's like they know for sure that they're ready. You know what I'm saying? Like to say all that. At least that's what you assume. Mm-hmm. So yeah, not even like a month into it, that situation happened where she cheated on me. And that was tough because my friends were involved. Like it literally happened at one of my old friends' house. Everyone knew. And it was like, okay, now we're trying to mend what we had. And she actually came out to me and told me that she cheated on me the next day. So it's not like I found out. Like she actually told me straight up. So I did respect that of like, you're being honest, but you still did what you did. And it's like
you respected it.
I respected it because
you have so much love in your heart.
To me, it's like, I rather hear it from the person than find out, from somebody else or through another way.
Which is true.
Or just never know and assume and just be like, and just be in the dark. You know what I'm saying? So, and in that moment, in that situation, it was tough. And we had our conversations, we talked it through, and yes, I did decide to get back with her and giving her the benefit of the doubt. But that just led to more and more. That led to the lies, more hiding, trust issues, a lot of miscommunication. And, there was a moment while we were still long distance where cheating can be very gray. What some people think is cheating, I'm like, okay, that's not like, you're not physically cheating, but you're emotionally cheating. Like there's a spectrum to it, right? Mm. So it was a Halloween party and I had 2 friends sleep over. One of them, she is straight, but like we had like a moment, one from San Diego. Mm-hmm. We had a moment, but nothing happened. Like we barely kissed once before and that was it. But like we would flirt, it was there, etc. But that had ended. They both spent the night, and in that moment, it like we cuddled. Like I just like kind of like big spooned her. And then I realized what I was doing and I was like, okay. And then I like went downstairs. This was like at probably 2, 3 in the morning. And then I called girl, my ex at the time, and I told her. And I'm not saying you should compare like her cheating on me, like physically versus this, but like the way she made me feel was like I just like, she was like, you used to be perfect in my eyes and now it's like gone.
Oh God, the manipulation.
I don't know. And listeners, whatever experience you have, whatever take you have.
Sorry, I'm being very biased right now.
No, yeah. But it's just so interesting to me because it's like you kind of compare, it's like apples to oranges. You know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, cheating is cheating, whether it's emotional, physical, etc. You are in the wrong, but owning up to it, holding yourself accountable takes a lot, right? And it shows a lot of growth. And so in that moment, that person just made me feel like I'm the worst person. And I'm like, well, you've done worse. And it became that like finger point between us. And so that kind of came into play with our relationship of like, well, you did X, Y, Z. Okay, but you did this. So now it's like tit for tat, right? And like that leads to toxicity. And from there, throughout the whole 6.5, 7 years, we were on and off so much. Like breakup, get together, breakup, get together. I would find things.
Post, delete post.
Oh,
post, delete post.
Yep.
Bio, delete bio. Bio, delete bio.
Equals
Story,
toxic.
then delete story.
The
I was like-
toxicity be real, dude. It was so bad. And like, it was both of us. Like, it wasn't just like her. It wasn't just me. Like, there was many times where I lost my patience. But again, going back to what we first said, like, I'm not saying they're bad people. I'm just, explaining my side and what I've gone through. And like, there was just a lot of infidelity. There was not loyalty. I was not being respected or treated with love. I was very much being taken advantage of. And, it's not a good place to be in because you literally feel small. You feel like this is all I'm worth. Is this what I truly deserve? And I literally had, so many sleepless nights. So many sleepless nights. So many nights where I would like cry myself to sleep, trying to like navigate through this because keep in mind through this relationship, I came out to my parents. Like there was so many, my grandma passed away. There was so many big life moments I went through where this person that's your partner should be showing up and they weren't, and it's like, is it me? Is it my fault that they're not showing up? It makes you just look inward and question yourself. And so I kept making excuses and I'm going to hold myself accountable to that. I would always make an excuse, whether it was with my friends, with myself, with my family, of like, it's okay. That's why they're doing this. It's okay. That's why they're doing this. All for it to come down to the infidelity wouldn't stop. The entertaining other people wouldn't stop. And it would still be me trying to literally give my all till I have nothing left. And I literally had nothing left at that point. And that's when I decided to walk away. And it was hard to walk away. It was hard because there was many, many times where I tried to walk away before and I went back. But this time I was like, I'm not going back. I'm going to do something different. And I need to do something different because that's when I came to the realization that this is your only life. And that's when it clicked to me. Like, is this how I want to live my life? Is this what happiness means to me? Like, am I living my true potential? Am I truly happy with my life at its current state and the decisions that I'm making? No. Then what am I going to do about it?
No, I agree, dude. That stuff, it's hard walking away, especially when they manipulate you and say that I still love you. Like, are you really gonna throw all of this away? And when you said with the first toxic relationship that you had to like really leave based off evidence. Like that's how my the old girl that that last relationship I had. That's how it ended. Was just I really had to see the evidence for itself.
Yeah,
I remember like. Once I saw the photos and all of that, because I knew in the back of my head.
Yeah.
And she would distract me with dogs or, like other things, going out, whatever, right? But I was like, man, I know something's going on. Like, ain't no way. So that's when I was like, okay, once I saw the evidence, I was like, okay, I'm really done. Because just like you said, it's like you set up all those excuses. You try to like, okay, we'll make things work. Come with me here, come with me there. But yeah, it was tough. Because even my friends wasn't fucking with her.
Damn, dude. But but what I admire you about is like you saw the evidence and you had the strength to leave. I didn't have the strength to leave.
Well,
and I saw the evidence, you know what I'm saying? But like I would make excuses for it.
Oh yeah.
You're right. Yeah, like it was very much like I want to make this work so bad. And looking back at my relationship and, we're getting into like the next part of like the healing journey and the therapy experience. Like I had a moment with my therapist of like, why am I hurt so much from this? And it really came down to, I did love this girl. Like, I'm not going to deny, I'm not going to sit here and be like, forget her. She hurt me, so I don't love her. No, I truly loved her with all that I had. And I gave it my all, but it wasn't reciprocated. And that's where it hurt the most of like, you didn't love me the way you say that you did. You didn't honor me the way that you say that you would. You didn't respect me. But yeah, so like, that's what it came down to is that it wasn't reciprocated. And that's what when I started going through my healing journey and my therapy, I understood that love should be reciprocated no matter what. Like, you should never feel like your love standards are high or like, you're you should never settle, right? It's what we've always talked about. Never settle. Like, don't feel like what you're asking and wanting to receive from your partner is too much.
Right.
You know, like if that's what you want, then that's your standard and that's what you should go for, you know? And so just learning that, like, man, the reciprocation is real. But, you know, transitioning to the healing journey, I literally like made a vow to myself. I was like, you're not going to do what you always did, which was always jump into another relationship to cover up the pain from the past one, jump in another relationship, you know, move fast with somebody else, and then just kind of continue from there, because I'm not breaking my patterns. You know, like the residual effects from my last 2 relationships will just continue to form into my new relationship if I continued on that path, you know? So I made sure, I was like, you're not jumping into a relationship. You're literally going to sit in your shit. You're going to cry. You're going to be happy. You're going to cry again. Like, that was literally my healing journey. There was some high times, there was low times, and there was the lowest of low times. But I had to go through that to figure out, what did I truly want? Like, my therapist would ask me, like, what do you really want from a partner? Like, what do you prioritize? And I was like, okay, I'm not going to knock down love languages. Love languages is a real thing, but it's just overused. Like, everyone's like, oh, this is my first language. Like, no, to me, my love language is all of them. I like a little bit of everything. You know what I'm saying? But like, what do I truly value in a partner? You know, like, I value honesty. I value respect. I value reciprocation. Like, I'm a family person. You know what I'm saying? So like, really sitting down and like doing that work of like understanding, what do I truly want, and making sure that when I'm dating, I keep that in the back of my mind.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's so important in that. And, you know, just staying true to not jumping into something serious so soon. It just allowed me to not only learn so much more about what I want for my next partner,
right,
but it allowed me to love myself. And that's the first thing. Like, you know, like, it's true. Like, things can be in parallel. You could still meet somebody and be loving and working on yourself. But I think truly understanding, like, I'm not this small of a person. Like, I'm bigger than what I think I am. And I have so much potential. I have so much love to give. And I don't want these bad experiences to take away that love that I have to give. You know, so.
Yeah, that's fact.
So yeah, you know,
Speaking the truth, man.
Toxicity just, it's could be a blessing in disguise if you'd look at it that way.
Yeah, it really teaches you a lot of things.
It does, dude.
You know, yes, things can get really escalated to where it's like, okay, this is doing too much, you know, way too far than it should be. But yeah, I think I kind of briefly talked about it, right? Where my healing experiences are like, I really just wanted to focus myself and like learn to love myself, because I felt that was like really important before actually committing to another relationship. You know, and yeah, when I did that, it was just like you said, sleepless nights, a lot of going out all the time, using alcohol as like, you know, my short-term therapy in a way, or
yeah, that's a real thing.
It just felt like a band-aid to how I really felt, but like really sitting down with how you feel, that really hit me when I remember I was at my dad's house and I told him, I was like, dude, I don't know like how I'm gonna get through this. You know, like, I don't know if I could ever love somebody again. Like, I just become this monster and like just going in, right? Like, basically self-sabotaging like myself, and that I'm never gonna have potential again to another relationship. But the time, the patience, the work, all that stuff really matters, because it's like really just trusting yourself again, building your confidence, and really loving yourself that you can do it. It's just really on your own time. You know what I mean? So
I mean, it's like you said, like, you literally feel like where do I go from here? Like, what is my future?
I felt so lost. And that's why I felt like traveling was going to be something where I can feel, I'm going to be a wanderer at the same time, but I just felt like I can have a reset in my life in a sense, and just try to figure myself out, still enjoy the time that I'm out, you know, and get to know people. But I really feel like it just took those many long nights staying at my dad's house, not wanting to be home, because I just like everything just made me think about like old shit that I've done.
Person,
you know,
and what you've gone through. And it's really just like nurturing yourself. Like one thing I will highly advocate for therapy. So if y'all are out there and you have access to therapy, use it. Like, even if you feel like, I don't think I need it right now, like my life is fine, use it. Like, you don't realize the actions that you take today. We talked about it in the past episode. Like, it stems from your childhood. It stems from how you grew up, how you were raised. And if you don't sit there and truly assess like experiences that have happened in the past, you won't be able to see those connections to then break from those patterns that you have, right? Like, so just having that awareness and being cognizant of like, why do I react like this? Why do I respond like this? Why do I settle? Why do I feel less than? Like, all those questions can truly be asked, like, if you really like assess your past and do that inner work. And it's not easy. It's not. And it's uncomfortable as fuck. Like, I would sit there and be like, why the fuck do I like the conversation I had with my therapist? I was like, I'm so ashamed to admit this, but I'm gonna tell you, like, this is how I feel. And this is why I feel this way. And she even told me, she was like, Amon, like, we've gotten so much progress done because you've been so vulnerable, because you've been so honest. You have
to be vulnerable.
You have. I've seen so many people go into therapy and they do surface shit because sometimes it's hard for people to be vulnerable.
Yeah, they don't want to say like what it really is.
It's like, maybe you're not ready, and that's okay.
Yeah. One thing that has helped me from therapy was like journaling how I felt.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm still working on this thing where it's like, like you mentioned about reaction and all that stuff. Like, I'm still working on it till this day, but journaling how I felt has actually become really therapeutic for me. When I started it, I definitely fell off for some time, but coming back into it where I'm at right now in my life, I feel like it's really important because just like kind of like journaling how I feel, where I'm at with my life. It definitely gives some good reflection in a way, because it's like, okay, this is where you were at mentally, but like how far you've come now.
Yeah.
In a sense,
and and you should celebrate those little wins. Like, don't put so much pressure of like, damn, this is where I should have been. Like, what have you done so far? Like, those small strides and small progress can lead to bigger wins in the end, but it's the fact that you're even taking the initiative and you're aware. A lot of people don't even do that. So just starting there is something, but
it's really important, because when you do work on yourself, you start noticing people start coming back.
Oh, easy.
Trying to check on you.
Now they gravitate towards you more because that energy, and they're like, damn, like, oh, you're doing this? Oh, you looking like this? Oh, you doing that? Like,
or it's like, oh, why? Like, how come you don't want to answer my calls anymore?
Yep.
Like, they'll still find themselves talking about my old girl, still try to insert herself in where it's like relevant. Even though she may not do it intentionally, but there's some moments where I'll be like, yo, like, I got a call. I'll put this out, but getting all these like weird notifications on my PayPal account.
Yeah.
If you ever watch this video, get out of my freaking bank account.
Get out of my bank account. It is crazy. But, one thing I will say, and, if y'all are listening and y'all are in a similar situation of like situationships, a toxic relationship, I would say like, not sometimes, a lot of times we try to force things and we try to make it work so bad, and we want to make it work so bad. But one thing I wish that could have happened was I wish I could have walked away from my past relationships to where me and my exes were in a better place. But I mean, apparently, So&So, I ran into her like 8 years later and she still acts like she doesn't know me, but that's okay. Weird. I'm like, all right, keep that energy up, girl. We hella grown now. So I'm very like, I forgive. I won't forget, but I do forgive, because at the end of the day, it's energy you carry. It's grudge you're carrying. If you don't let the past be the past and you carry it with you, you're just going to continue to feel that resentment, that animosity, that like the anger in you. And like, why do you want to carry that energy? So if you're able to forgive, and I actually had a post about this today about closure. Ooh. I never got closure from any of my past relationships. And that's something I had talked about to my therapist as well, is like, I just want to know, why did they do what they did? And she was like, well, you can't.
Yeah.
And I was like, I know I can't, because they're not going to own up to it. They're not going to hold themselves accountable. They're not going to admit the fact that they even did that in the first place. So how are you going to get your closure?
Yeah.
So it came down to finding closure on my own terms.
For sure.
And it came to me reminding myself, the journaling, the reflecting, like I wasn't given the respect I deserved. I wasn't given the love I deserved. And I gave them the respect. I gave them the love. I gave them the trust, but it was never reciprocated. So why am I still stuck on this? And I wrote a letter to my ex. I didn't expect her to respond back. And she didn't have anything to say. But I apologize. I apologize to her because going through my therapy, I'm like, damn, this girl put me through a lot to where I had a lot of trauma, but I'm not perfect.
She probably felt really guilty and didn't know what to say.
But you know what? But I'm not perfect, bro. I'm sure I've said some things. I'm sure I did some things, whether it was me being impatient, me reacting, me getting angry, me not listening to her, to where I probably left some residual trauma to her too. And so I literally messaged her to apologize of like, if I caused you, any sort of trauma or any negativity from this relationship, like I'm truly sorry. That was not my intention. I really do hope you the best because I meant that. And I just left it at that. And that was my closure of like.
Shit, I ain't never sent no goddamn apology text. Y'all motherfuckers, you know what my closure was? Listening to music that just said, fuck you, move on, live your life. So we definitely two different.
But everyone finds closure. But all that to say is like, if you're not able to get closure, find it your own way. Make amends with it. Forgive for your own sake and move on. Because it's such a great thing when you figure it out and you release that energy and you're like, I no longer react to this person when they're brought up. I no longer carry any resentment or animosity if they're around me. And granted, I haven't ran into my recent ex. And, that's something, again, talk to my therapist about how would I react and respond. But the place that I'm at today as I speak, I can truly say that if I were to run into this person, it will not affect me. Like I'm being protected for sure. I know that. But
most definitely.
I just think where I was at probably like 10 months ago, give or take, I don't know how I would have reacted. So
totally understandable.
All that to say is if you are in, again, a situationship, a toxic relationship, and if you're able to end on good terms, take that initiative. It's never easy to end anything you're so familiar with, you're so comfortable with, someone you've probably spent your life and time with. But if you continue to see the same patterns, it's not getting any better, and you're trying, do therapy if you haven't. Couples therapy, I heard, is a great resource, a great tool. But if the conclusion is like y'all are just not meant for each other, accept that. Take it for what it is. End on good terms if you're able to, and figure out what truly makes you happy in life.
It's gonna eat you.
It is.
But you gotta
do it. You really do. Because again, we've said this through and through so many times. Y'all only got one life. Like, this is it. So you want to be miserable this lifetime? That's a choice you're making. You want to be happy? That's something you do have control.
Miserable.
And within your own hands. People be doing that, man. People be going years. Marriage, children, old age, and they're just miserable.
That's another topic for another day.
Yeah. So.
All right, y'all.
I think that concludes this episode.
Yes, sir.
A lot of energy right here.
A lot of things getting unpacked.
We need to go cleanse after this episode, because this is a tough one.
I need to take a shower. I need to put some Palo Santo around me.
Yeah, like this is a tough episode to talk about. And like we said in the beginning, the other people we have mentioned, they have their stories, they have their perspective. We completely respect their side, but we're just sharing with you all our experience, our observations, and how we felt through these situations. Hopefully it gives you some insight to make a change and just see things from a different lens.
That part.
With that said, y'all can catch us on YouTube, Amazon, YouTube Shorts, the Reels. The Reels is here. Apple and Spotify. Thank y'all again for the love. Thank y'all for tuning in. We appreciate the support. LezBros out. Oh, look at Mario. He looks pissed. They're clapping with us outside.
It's clapping.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, my God.
Damn. Oh, fuck.
Here we go again, bro. It's going to keep doing it.
And we barely getting started.
That part.
We're barely edit that out, and we barely getting started.